In a quaint little village, nestled deep in the heart of Germany, there lived a modest tailor. He spent his days diligently sewing garments by the window of his tiny shop, where the sunlight streamed in, casting a warm glow over his work. One fine morning, he was in high spirits, busily finishing a beautiful jacket and eagerly anticipating his well-deserved break with a slice of bread and jam. The aroma of the sweet jam wafted through the air, making his mouth water. Just as he was about to take his first bite, a swarm of pesky flies descended upon his bread. The tailor's eyes narrowed with determination. He grabbed a piece of cloth and, with a swift motion, smote 7 of them at once. Triumph surged through him as he gazed at the fallen flies. Inspired by his own prowess, he decided to commemorate the event. He stitched himself a belt with the bold declaration, 7 at one blow. Brimming with newfound confidence, the little tailor decided it was time to venture out into the world. He packed his essentials, including a small cheese from his pantry and a bird he had recently caught. As he climbed the steep, rugged path to the top of a mountain, the air grew thin and cold. He finally reached the summit, where he encountered a colossal giant. The giant loomed over him, a menacing figure against the twilight sky. The tailor's heart pounded in his chest, but he stood his ground. The giant's gaze fell upon the tailor's belt, and his eyes widened in astonishment. 7 at one blow, he muttered to himself. The giant, believing the tailor had slain 7 men with a single strike, was both impressed and wary. "Let's see if you are as mighty as your belt claims," the giant rumbled, his voice echoing through the mountains. He picked up a large stone and squeezed it until water dripped from it. The tailor, undaunted, reached into his pocket and pulled out his cheese. He squeezed it until liquid oozed out, much to the giant's surprise. Next, the giant picked up a stone and hurled it into the sky with such force that it vanished from sight. The tailor, quick-witted and sly, released his bird, which soared into the heavens, never to return. The giant, impressed but not fully convinced, decided to test the tailor's strength one more time. He led the tailor to a massive tree at the edge of the forest and challenged him to help carry it out. The tailor, ever cunning, climbed onto a branch and let the giant carry the tree while he perched comfortably, unseen. When the giant finally noticed, he was both frustrated and bewildered by the tailor's cleverness. That night, the giant and his fellow giants plotted to kill the tailor while he slept. The tailor, sensing danger, hid behind a bush and watched as the giants smashed the bed where they believed he lay. In the morning, the tailor cheerfully approached them, unharmed. The giants, terrified by what they believed to be supernatural invincibility, fled in panic. The tailor continued his journey and soon arrived at the royal court. News of his exploits had preceded him, and the king, convinced he was a formidable warrior, welcomed him into royal service. However, the king's soldiers were not pleased. They grumbled amongst themselves, fearing the tailor's supposed ability to kill 7 men with a single blow. The king, eager to rid himself of the tailor but unable to dismiss him outright, devised a plan. He promised the tailor his daughter's hand in marriage and half the kingdom if he could rid the realm of 2 monstrous giants who had been terrorizing the land. The tailor accepted the challenge without hesitation. Entering into the forest alone, the tailor found the giant sleeping beneath a massive oak tree. With a cunning smile, he climbed into the branches above and began pelting them with stones. The giants, awakened and enraged, blamed each other for the assault. In their fury, they fought ferociously until they had slain each other. Returning to the palace, the tailor demanded his reward. The king, dismayed by the tailor's success, devised another perilous task. This time, the tailor was to capture a dangerous unicorn. Armed with only a rope and an axe, the tailor ventured back into the forest. When the unicorn charged at him, he dodged swiftly, causing the creature's horn to become lodged in a tree. The tailor quickly roped the unicorn, cut it free, and led it back to the king. Desperate, the king gave the tailor one final challenge to capture a fierce wild boar. The tailor, ever resourceful, lured the boar into chasing him through the forest. He led it to a small chapel, where he leapt out of a tiny window, just large enough for him but too small for the boar. Trapped inside, the boar was easily captured. With no more tasks to set, the king had no choice but to honor his promise. The tailor married the princess and received half the kingdom. However, the princess soon realized that her new husband was not a mighty warrior, but a simple tailor. She confided in her father, who agreed to rid the kingdom of the tailor. The king instructed his servants to carry the tailor off while he slept and set him adrift on a ship. But the tailor, having made many friends at court, was warned of the plot. That night, when the servants came for him, he pretended to be asleep and muttered, "I smote 7 at one blow. I killed 2 giants. I brought away 1 unicorn and caught a wild boar. Am I to fear those who are standing outside the room?" Terrified, the servants fled, and no one dared to challenge the tailor again. The tailor, now a king, ruled wisely and justly, proving that wit and courage are sometimes mightier than the sword. He lived a long and prosperous life, forever remembered as the brave little tailor who outsmarted giants, captured unicorns, and ruled a kingdom.